So today I want to talk a little bit about my rabbit setup and why I'm in the middle of suburbs growing rabbits, not just for pets now, for a purpose. And the main purpose is for the garden. Well, how do I do that? Well, it's pretty simple. A lot of people that are into the rabbits, into the farming, they use them for multi-purpose. I want every animal to have somewhat of a purpose other than just being a pet, except for that one who just eats my grass, I guess. You can call her my somewhat lawnmower, and then she throws it up. But so let me take you for a look of my setup. So this I built from an old playground that I had where the pool used to be. Kids outgrew it and it was just thrown up in the woods, and so I dismantled it and made myself a rabbit hutch. Everything is reused except a couple brackets and the wire mesh wiring that I put around, and then their little cubby hole on the inside that they like to just hide out in. When I started, I got them a couple weeks old, and one of the biggest regrets that I have is I got the wiring too big. You know, I wanted to get maybe the 1/2-inch wiring instead of this full 1-inch. It doesn't seem to bother them. I've checked their feet for stores, they don't mind. But when they were young, only a couple weeks old, initially did is I just had cardboard along the bottom here. I just put cardboard, and then I had those pine shavings along the top there as a bedding, and I would just clean it out. And once they got bigger, I got rid of that, and I used a collection system underneath, and I'll go through a little bit about what I do there. But first, let me just show you. There we go, a little bit better. So this again is just a piece from the playground. I have it built on hinges, so all I do is set this down, and they're actually gonna expect a treat. I like here, let me get them some oregano. They like that a little bit, not as much as lettuce, but there we go. All right, here's something small for you guys to munch on, since you always expect treats whenever we open it up. But yeah, sits on a hinge very easily. This is just one of those no drip watering buckets, bottles. You just get them at a Tractor Supply. We have, here, I'll bring it closer. I have a backup one right here. That was when they were small. This is more the little ball nipple system, like that. Whereas this one, as they got older, they moved the little thing around on the inside, dropped some water. And we have the gravity fed food, regular old alfalfa pellets. And I have a bowl out there for them. And then they just have their Timothy hay bag. Again, gravity, they just pull out. They like to chew, and so far they have not been able to tear that up. And why do I say they like to chew? Well, they love sitting on top of this house and chewing the wood. Now this is untreated cedar. They're nice and healthy. And you probably noticed I said their little bed, I still put the shavings in there, although they like to kick it out. I don't know if it's too warm for them. But speaking of heat, that's why every morning we put one of these in here. If it gets over 85 degrees, these guys can get a little hot. They're not hot weather animals. They're cold. They love the cold. So if I'm not messing with them or giving them treats, they will always just be laying next to that water bottle if they're not in their home, just cooling off. So back to the poop system. What do I use for the poop system? So comes out that side, goes down under here, and this is where all the magic happens. Actually, I need to clean it up right now. I put the pine shavings down, pretty much deters the smell. And what I'll do is I'll scrape it out on this side, fill up a bucket, and take it over to the garden over there, and just lay it on top of my beds as if it was like mulch. You know, you don't want to stir this up into the grass or into your soil bed. You want to make sure that it's sitting on the top. And the reason you want it on the top is because you want the nutrients to add to the soil. You don't want the whatever you're putting on there, if you stir it in there, it's going to start soaking out of the soil. And you know, rabbit poop is high in nitrogen. That's, you know, tomatoes, they flourish on that. Really any flower, potassium, nitrogen, calcium, as you know, I was talking on the tomato pruning episode. It was the highest one that you usually need to add is your nitrogen. That's the green growth, if you want to get your plants going well. And that's for rabbits. You don't have to wait. Like chickens, you usually have to wait and compost it. Take a look at this. Another thing they like to do, you hear rabbits like to dig. Oh, now you want to stop? Yeah. Oh well. It'll probably start again. So how do I have my feed system? So luckily at the new place, the rabbit hutch is going to have an outbuilding next to it, so I'll be able to store the feed indoors right next to their hutch. Right now I have their feed in here, and really I just scoop it out and put them right in. One thing I noticed about this is your metal trash can you get at Tractor Supply, it's not waterproof, so I had to actually do some caulking around the handle here, because after a big rainstorm I found drips in the very middle of the food, and that almost started to make a mold. So I went ahead and water sealed that. It seems to work. This keeps stuff, usually the dustpan that I was using to clean out treats for them. It's not waterproof at all either, so everything in there will just be in a bag. I don't even think there's anything in there anymore though. Probably get rid of it. And then you can see that one right there wants to get in the rabbits. So that was the reason for jerry-rigging this. Now it's not done correctly. You normally would have some maybe T-posts here. You have insulators that'll be run on, but I only needed it for a little while. It only took her, I think, 4 times touching it to realize to be trained against that wire. It's hard to see in the camera, but you can see the corner there. And that's your Energizer, run with just an extension cord over to the house. And yeah, I mean, I probably don't even have to turn it on anymore. The thing I read about this, another piece from the playground, an anchor for the playground is my grounding rod. They have no desire, the dogs, to come in there, and now's the only thing the dogs will get under there and either eat the poop or start messing with the rabbits from underneath, and I didn't want any of that. God, that one's playful today. So there you have it. Here's a good example of what I was talking about with the water bottle. They just love to lay right next to it. Just keeps them all nice and cool all day. And then every morning, tomorrow morning, we'll switch it out again. We have a fresh one in the freezer. And you're wanting to get on top of your house. You love getting up there. I can tell by behavior which is which. Active one is Jess. Lazy one is Jen. Both are now quite tame, used to being picked up and pet. You know, not really as afraid anymore. Other than, you know, urban gardening in the suburbs, why I would have these guys. So, what are my plans for these rabbits? What am I gonna do with them when we get to actual property with land and I could do more? Well, these 2 guys have been labeled off limits. They are going to stay alive as pets. And as they are doing that, I might breed them. They're not the prettiest of rabbits, so I wouldn't breed them to sell them. Most people don't want the regular old New Zealand white rabbits with red eyes. Not very pretty. But I could breed them for meat. New Zealand rabbits get pretty large. I've never butchered a rabbit, but you know, it's something I'm open to. I'm definitely going to keep using them as fertilizer producers. That's been going great so far. I've read into and watched a few videos on how to use their hides after butchering. And then I do plan on getting more rabbits. I do plan on trying to breed some of the nice pretty ones that people want a whole lot of as pets. I mean, I think that'd be really cool to have. So we never know. I just, you know, start small and just get bigger and bigger and see where you can do from there. All right, see you guys.